Can you tell me your full name, please?
Lawrence Patrice Lumumba Clark. Education, a product of the public school system, graduated in 1992 at William Penn High School. Also attained my bachelor's degree at Villanova University for supply chain management and logistics, and also carried two certifications that carry weight, which is Lean Six Sigma Black Belt from Villanova, and also my Apex certification. Well, I grew up in North Philadelphia at 10th and Cumberland, right around the corner from the great Eli Ife, the Art Humanity, and also the Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble, which I was a member since 1978. As a young man growing up in the urban community in 1978, still in that era of gang-related, all the bad things that was going on in the city of Philadelphia at that time, Eli Ife was a safe haven where I was introduced by JoJo, who not just was the gatekeeper, but also a member of the Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble, where we met him the winter of 1977. And the summer of 1978, hanging around JoJo, he took me and my brother Andre to one of the members in Eli Ife named Vanjie Brown. And Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble had a summer program where we signed up and we learned arts and craft, cultural dancing, drumming, you name it. And we really liked the activity that was going on. So being a young man, we ran home to our mothers about it. And my mother already knew what was going on Germantown Avenue. And it became a home for us. We learned so much things there. It gave us the opportunity by using the culture of dancing and drumming to travel. And that was something new to us as being growing up in the urban cities, moving out or traveling outside that community, going to Washington, going to Virginia, going to Maine, Vermont, Arizona. That was something huge as someone at the age of 6 and 7 years old, drumming. Wow, my first drum teacher was Jomo Obrafo, Bobby Artist. My cousin Robert Kenyatta, known as Rogie, one of the legend drummers here. Bobby Franklin, Nana Karatama. She also was a very instrumental, and not just as a drum teacher, but also dance. She taught us dance. Yes, I used to dance. Everybody don't look at it now, but one thing in the philosophy of that Arthur teach and that he shared, that a drummer must know how to dance, a dancer must know how to drum. It was a marriage. So you can't do one without the other. And that's gave you the full fundamental of the culture when you know both. And so we did it all. And I probably could say out of that, I was one of the first stilt dancers that came out of the Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble. Who introduced us to stilt walking was Jomo Amara. I was his first student. And then my brother came along, Vernon, and then Chucky. We all was learn how to walk stilts. A year later, Arthur put on a production called Yoruba Festival. And Kofi Chimera came in the picture and actually taught us how to dance on stilts. And from there, we just start growing and understanding the whole fundamental, the spirituality of stilt dancers. My brother Vernon actually took it to the next level and became one of the best stilt dancers in the city of Philadelphia, which gave him a lot of props nationally. He was known nationally as a icon when it came to stilt dancing. Well, I cherish those years because that's the time that I was really active with the company, performing day after day, week after week, performing for the National Treasure in Nigeria at the Philadelphia Art Museum. And I had the privilege at that time to perform with the older senior members of the company. And it was great because no longer I was, I had, it was actually drumming for Omo Ife, which was the children dance coming up to Ile Ife, and drumming for the junior company, and then switch over to someone who 8 years old drumming with the senior company. And so I went through the ranks, and I'm glad I have because I learned not just children dances that was Arthur choreographed that came from Africa, but the senior dances and dances that you won't see unless you look at documentaries that Arthur created, and it was fun. Traveling throughout this country, and I saw watered down of Arthur choreographed that people imitated. They watched it on videotape and said, "Oh, I want to do it." And then when they found out that I was the member of the Arthur Hall, is we doing this right? This isn't that. So I'm glad that I was part of that family. My mother was on the board of the Ile Arts and Humanities, and how that relationship came about. My mother was a community activist. She was very strong in North Philadelphia. She was very cultural aware. She taught us all the fundamentals, and she admired what Arthur was doing. My mother grew up at the time as being a high yellow African American that she wasn't accepted in her own race by her being a high yellow woman. But she also knew her culture, and she knew how rich that was. So she applied that to us, to know who we are. And this is something that Ile Ife, the Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble, taught in the community, which was unknown at that time. There was no institution that was actually teaching African culture, Afro-American culture, and where do you fit at between both of those relationships. And my mother came around and talked to Arthur. And Arthur's whole thing was always about community. My mother thing was always about community. So my mother linked Arthur with different community activists, community leaders, the politicians. And my mother became a big advocate for the Arthur Hoffman Dance Ensemble / Ile Arts Humanities. And that's where that relationship came from. My mother fought Temple University when Temple wanted to come and demolish and really erase the history of Ile Ife. My mother was actually very vocal on that. And Arthur recognized that. Arthur knew that he had not just a friend, but a strong warrior by his side, fighting for the betterment of our community when it comes to the culture and the arts. I never was a student of politics, and growing up in the era of the 70s and seeing how active the community was when it came to urban renewal, when it came to when Temple was wanting to move blacks out of their community, when we started looking at the social problems that are affecting us in the public school system, I watched the warriors of our community fighting against that. And it fell upon me. Also, traveling with Arthur. Arthur always gave us some sense of understanding globally and where we fit at, and how he used the arts to get in the door to make changes. And I think I fell in the realm of the political part of it. Still today, I'm very active. I ran twice for different political seats. I also an elected committee person in North Philadelphia, and also started actually a nonprofit organization in 1992 really trying to imitate what Arthur done. And that's something about Arthur. Arthur being the person he was. You wanted to be like him. You wanted to do everything he did because you know that it worked. You know that it was results. You know that he did it out of love. And one of the things I ain't gonna never, ever, ever forget what Arthur said to me as a young man. I think I was about 11 years old. And he said the information that comes out of Ile Ife, the Arthur African Dance Ensemble, no one can ever take that away from you. You will become a walking encyclopedia because it was unknown. And being 12 or 13 years old, how I was being used to help people attain their master degrees and their PhD in Afro American studies, Afro American dancing, because the wealth of information that Arthur shared, and he made sure that we share it to others. Well, I just want to say this here. We are never, just like we said, we'll never see a black president, but, thank God we see a black president in this time. But I can actually say comfortably that we will never see another man like Arthur in this generation. But what Arthur have left us is a wealth of knowledge and understanding that will pay our way to help others and teach the message of love, respect, and who we are through the culture, the arts, and dance.
About it? Thank you, Mikey.
No
That's
problem.
good.